Have you talked about Elon Musk charging people to use Twitter yet? Has that?
Well, have at it here. Do you have thoughts on what's going to happen here with Twitter? As the New York Times did an enormous amount of reporting on Elon Musk, who felt like he was walking into a toy factory. $44 billion seems like a lot of money to spend on any single thing in the world, and he's done it on a toy that has a great deal of power. So your thoughts were what there on, yes, of course he's going to monetize it.
Well, this is the truly bizarre thing about this to me is Twitter, like Facebook and Instagram and everything else, has tricked famous people into creating content for it for free, right? Stephen King tweets and rock stars tweet and Taylor Swift tweets, and all these people do this for free. Like, they give this company free material. People comb the internet and break it down into digestible parts and then put it on Twitter so that you can curate the entire internet and watch whatever is interesting. And he's like, here's my idea for this. I'm going to start charging those people to use this. What are you doing? They're all going to leave. Like, why would you pay money for the privilege of putting your stupid ideas on Twitter when you can put your stupid ideas anywhere else for free? Like, they're just going to run away. And the only question I have is whether journalists who feel like it's important for their media outlets to have Twitter presences will stay. But I kind of think they won't. I kind of think everyone will be like, oh, I'm not paying for this. I'm paying you for the privilege of putting my ideas on your site. Forget it. I mean, I would be gone in a second if he did that. I'm probably gone anyway, but I'm not going to pay him money to use stupid Twitter. Twitter's ridiculous. Like, why in the world would anyone pay to use one dumb thing on the internet when there's other dumb things on the internet you can also use?
Well, a couple things there. I think the main concern is that, like, people will use the bot verification thing for nefarious purposes to spread misinformation or to scam people, because, like, if you're pretending to be someone else, like, this has happened to me before. Someone impersonated me on Twitter, but it was an unverified account, and so people, like, realized right away it wasn't actually me and, like, reported it. But if I'm unverified and someone impersonates me, it's harder to tell who's real and who's fake. And obviously it doesn't matter because I'm a nobody. But, like, if that happens to an actual important media figure or like, politician, that could be an issue. But the other thing is that, like, Twitter is also used by media companies, like you said, as a way to promote and market other things. So it has become somewhat of an economy for advertisers. And I think this would probably drive some of that away too, which doesn't seem to be in the best interest of Twitter.
No, and also, like, it becomes a death spiral, because I think if those unverified people if the misinformation flows about who's who and is this really your account or someone else's account, then first of all, the whole site becomes less, in theory, less reliable. And then more and more people go like, I'm leaving. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to be a part of this. Like, it becomes a place where the whole point of verification, in theory, is it let you trust that this was really the person that you wanted it to be. If the fact that he's now charging people causes some people to leave and fake accounts to pop up, then everyone will be like, oh, it doesn't matter now. I don't have any idea whether this is really this Jessica Smetana or a Jessica Smetana impersonator. So this site is now worthless to me, so I will not use this site, and they will also leave. And then businesses will leave. And also, by the way, all the Nazis are trying to come back already. I don't know if you saw that, but one of those Nazis that got banned was like, Elon's in charge. I'm gonna get back on the site. And they had to, like, whack-a-mole them back down. But that will happen too. All the Nazis will come back, and they'll try to get Trump back. And then other people will be like, well, this is awful, and more hate will be spread. The N-word went up 500% within the first 24 hours of him taking over. Like, that's what all those people will come rushing back. And then businesses, in theory, will go like, well, we don't want our ad for, or like our tweet for, like, you know, whatever product we have to be right underneath an insane screed about how George Soros is putting microchips in vaccines or whatever. So we're going to leave. And then, like, it's just so self-defeating. The whole thing is so self-defeating. I just can't wait for it to happen, because I would love it. But the optimal outcome here is that Elon Musk straight up loses $44 billion. That's my personal hope and dream. That he just, like, I lost $44 billion.
That's your rooting interest?
That is absolutely what I'm rooting for, without question.
Mike, do we not sound, though, like the aforementioned Nazis that started their own
social platform, and it's like, hey, we're just going to go create our own thing because we don't like what this thing became, and you're sort of creating an equal and opposite reaction.
There's one key difference, I would say, in how we sound between us and the Nazis. I don't know if you can identify it.
Yeah, I mean,
there is one. Like, there's one kind of like
not everyone who went
off the top of my head.
Not everyone who went to Truth Social was a Nazi, but. I like it for me though. It's just sort of like everyone is going to create their own personal public square, and there is not going to be an actual public square. Not that there ever really was one.
No, there wasn't. And also, okay, there's no internet public square. It's not like it's really worked so far. It's been essentially been a haven of hatred, abuse, harassment, misinformation, and sometimes like a promoted ad for like a vacuum cleaner or something. And I don't think it's like served. He says, America or the world deserves this flourishing public square. The idea of charging people to enter the public square shows you how disingenuous he is and how little he actually cares about that. He doesn't care about that at all, because if he actually cared about it, he would say, like, you will never have to pay anything for this. I'm going to run this as a public utility. But instead, he's like, no, I'm going to charge rich people $20 to use it. Like, that's so crazy. And look, when I say like we'll all leave, I'm not saying we'll go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere else. I'm just going to not use Twitter. I spend too much time on Twitter. It's eaten my brain. My brain is full of worms that have crawled in there by me using Twitter. It's made my life measurably worse. And I just will. This is a perfect excuse to get rid of it. And I will get my news from other reliable places that don't have Nazis crawling around on them, and it will eat my brain with its terrible brain worms. So this is a net positive. If he blows up Twitter, here's the win-win. He loses $44 billion, is personally humiliated, is exposed as the fraud that Billy has been and Stugotz have been saying he is for years on this show, and also the Nazis all disappear again. Like, it's like that. How can anyone not be rooting for that?
What are you gonna do with all your umpire scorecards, though?
That's a great question. That's the one problem with this, is I need to find where I can get umpire scorecards. By the way,
perfect game.
Shout out Pat Hoberg. Yeah, perfect game. Did you see this, Dan? Perfect game. He was an umpire through a perfect game, called every pitch correctly in the World Series.
What?
It's a huge deal. Yeah. The umpire scorecards keeps track of how many calls, how many balls they called strikes, how many strikes they called balls. For the first time in recorded history, Pat Hoberg called a perfect game.
And did it deserves our Don Larson. I mean, how about that?
Did it on the biggest stage. Extraordinary.
I did it too on the New York Times. Don't worry.
We all did.
I missed one, actually. That was hard. You didn't play the umpire game on New York Times? No. Oh, man, I went 6 for 7. Mike Schur played it. He doesn't see that and not play it. Come on, you played it.
I haven't seen it. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't listen to Mystery Crate?
Not having that.
We talked about it on Mystery Crate. They show you a pitch, and you have to guess whether it was called a ball or a strike. Or you have to guess if it was a ball or a strike, and it tells you what the umpire called. It was like 7 missed calls from
You'd
last
love it, Mike,
season.
honestly. Baseball fans love this thing. I'm telling you.
I mean, it sounds good.
Oh, Twitter shitter.
Thank you, Harry Carey. Your thoughts here are always welcome.
Look out now.
Mike, welcome back. It is nice seeing you.